In the previous part of this lesson, we learned how to do additions and subtractions with functions, but we still have a couple more operations, multiplications and divisions. So we still have the same functions we did on the previous part. F of x is x squared plus 8x minus 2, and g of x is 2x plus 7. But we're now going to do f times g of x, which, one more time, is the same as f of x times g of x. It's more visual. It's an easier way to visualize the situation, why we write it like this, separate. But it's the same thing. And then we have first f of x, so we take f of x, which is x squared plus 8x minus 2. This time we're putting the first function also in a parenthesis. That's going to help us in a couple of steps. Then we have a multiplication sign, so we write the multiplication sign, and finally g of x, which is 2x plus 7. And yes, we also put g of x in a parenthesis. As said before, technically you don't need them if you don't really understand what you're doing, but especially when we are learning, when we're beginning, when we're practicing, it's always easier if we put the parentheses on both of the functions. Then let's clean this up because we have to do that multiplication. And to do the multiplication, we have to apply the distributive property, which means we're going to distribute one parenthesis into the other. And although it doesn't matter in which direction we go, in this video, we're going to do the right parenthesis into the left parenthesis. So, to do this multiplication, we start multiplying one parenthesis into the other. So, 2x times x squared. Then 2x times 8. And remember, in multiplication, the order does not make a difference. Then 2x times negative 2. Then we distribute the other number, which is the 7. 7 times x squared. 7 times 8x. And 7 times negative 2. And now let's combine that because this equation looks huge. But to combine all these multiplications before we combine like terms, we need to remember lesson 2.2 from the basic algebra course, that multiplication of exponents. We need to remember this rule. We need to review this lesson. When we multiply equal bases, we just add the exponents. And then we also need to remember when we're multiplying variables and numbers, the numbers multiply with the numbers and the variables multiply with the variables. What does it mean? Well, let's start with the first one, x squared times 2x. Variables with variables, so x squared times x. Let's apply the lesson with the content we learned in lesson 2.2. X squared, that's a 2, x to the power of 1, 2 plus 1 is x to the power of 3. And on the numbers, we only have a 2 and a 1, so this is 2x to the power of 3. Next one, numbers with numbers, letters with letters. 8 times 2 is 16, x times x, x squared, so we have 16x squared. Next one, minus 2 times 2, that's negative 4, and we only have one x, so negative 4x. X squared times 7, there is only one number and one letter, so 7x squared. 8x times 7, numbers and numbers, 8 times 7 is 56. We only have one x, so 56x. And finally, minus 2 times 7, those are just two numbers. Minus 2 times 7 is negative 14. And we get rid of all of the multiplications, but we still have to combine like terms because remember, we have to simplify this as much as we can. And to combine like terms, we bring our calculations rectangle. We start with the 2x to the power of 3. There is only one x to the power of 3, so we don't combine it. We have a couple x squared, so we have to combine those two. 16 plus 7, that's equal to 23x squared. Now is the turn of the x's to the power of 1. Minus 4 plus 56, that's 52x. And finally, the negative 14. There is only one number without a letter, which is the negative 14, so we don't have to combine it with anything. That's it. This is our number. So f times g of x is equal to 2x cubed plus 23x squared plus 52x minus 14. And the last operation we are going to learn is the division, f divided by g of x of f of x divided by g of x. And the process is the same. We have f of x, we write where f of x is. Then we have the division. So if we have the division, we just draw the division line. And then we have g of x, which is 2x plus 7 on the denominator. So we write it there. And well, this is the answer. Yes, we do have operations, we do have methods to do these divisions of polynomials. These are the names, polynomials. But that's something we're going to learn in Algebra 2. Divisions of polynomials, that's something for Algebra 2. In Algebra 1, all we really need to focus is the fact that this is a fraction. Fractions cannot have 0 in the denominator. So that means g of x cannot equal 0. So if we set g of x equals 0 and we solve for x, we get that x cannot be negative 7 over 2. And this is the answer to the problem with these conditions.